Hello, in this video I'm going to share with you a math intervention for kindergarten addition to 5. This intervention specifically focuses on the entry-level skills for addition. This comes before the students understand what the symbols mean and are still establishing the and is concept. The and meaning one group of objects and a second group of objects combined is. This intervention is going to cover 5 categories, and we're going to walk through each one. We're going to start with the lesson introduction. We're going to go into teacher modeling, differentiation, independent practice, and then on to an assessment. And the last step we're going to cover is knowing where in the learning progression your students are. Once they've mastered this, what's the next step and where we're going to take them from there. Hey there, I'm Bran from TeachTastic Publishing, where we work hard every day to write differentiated, scaffolded, small group instructions for hardworking teachers just like you. So if that sounds exactly like what you're looking for, go ahead and tap that like button and stay tuned as we move through the math intervention for kindergarten addition to 5. Oh, and by the way, if you're new to the channel, let me know. Introduce yourself down in the comments below. I'd love to know where you're teaching, what subjects you're teaching, what grade levels you're teaching. Introduce yourself. Let's get to know each other. In the introduction to this lesson, we're going to display 2 blue cubes and 1 green cube. When they come together and become one, it's in, all, together, or is. Eventually we'll go into equals. As you have these 2 groups of objects laid out on your table, 2 blue cubes and 1 green cube, we're going to ask the students to observe and think about what they see quietly. We want them to be accessing what previous knowledge they might bring to the table about combining things, about putting things together. What are their noticings? What are their wonderings? But the key part is quietly. The reason why we're asking the students to do this quietly is because the minute one student blurts out a concept or a thought or a connection, it's going to stop all others from thinking, because then they'll just focus directly on what that one student said, whether it's correct or incorrect. After a few seconds of think time, go ahead and combine the objects to form one group. Place the grouping on the table in front of the students, reminding them to just think quietly. Repeat the action at least 3 more times using different cube combinations. In the second demonstration, try 3 orange cubes and 2 pink cubes. 3 orange cubes and 2 pink cubes is. Connect your cubes and once again lay them out on the table. Finally, our last grouping is going to be 2 purple cubes. 2 purple cubes and 2 green cubes is. Go ahead and connect those and lay those out on the table. The last thing you're going to want to do is read the guiding question to the students. The guiding question for this lesson is, what does it mean to join or put together 2 groups? At this point, go ahead and let the students talk and share about their previous knowledge of addition and what it means to join and put together. Before we move into the teacher modeling portion of this lesson, I wanted to stop and pause for just a second and talk about differentiation. This particular lesson has been differentiated in 5 very strategic areas. First, in the area of content, we're going to make sure that we review the academic vocabulary before we get too much farther into the lesson, so that the kids understand what the specific words are, how to use them in the context of combining and joining. The next 2 are in the area of process. Process meaning how are we going to deliver the lesson and what types of tools and materials are we going to be using. So first off, we're going to keep the group small, no more than 5 students in any differentiated lesson. The next one is using high interest manipulatives. And I know that sounds obvious, but the more colorful they are, the more fun they are to touch. If you can hear them, do they make a nice click sound when you put them together? all those little things add up to an experience that the kids are starting to make connections between this and this joining to become one, making this and this is a much more fun experience when they can hear it, touch it, make it their own. The last two differentiation areas are in the area of product. In the area of product, we're talking about the actual physical worksheet that the students are going to be working on. The first thing that you want to make sure and have on your worksheets is the instructions. The instructions are going to be not only present, but you're going to have keywords bolded or highlighted within the instructions. So whether you're using worksheets that you found on the internet or you're making your own, make sure the instructions have all your academic vocabulary or keywords highlighted for the students. The last piece of differentiation on this worksheet is going to be the reduced problem set. This particular worksheet focuses on four questions. 4 being very, very strategic in thinking that it's going to be 4 questions to be proficient. Proficiency is going to be measured on all 4 being correct. If we're going to get 3 correct, we're going to be somewhere in the emerging category. If we're going to get 2, it's going to be practicing, and 3 for beginning. So 4 questions. If you're going to differentiate your own worksheets or you're looking to find some on the internet or borrow some from a friend, I'm going with 4. Now we've reached the point in the lesson where we're going to start teacher modeling. That means we're going to go through a process of I say, they say, we show. So it's kind of a scripted process, but it really needs to be kind of made your own. In the lesson plan, it's written out that the teacher says this, then you wait and you pause and you see what the students are saying back to you. And then you say something else, and then you show something and you listen to see what their responses are. So I'm going to kind of read you through that, walk you through the manipulatives and what I'm going to be doing with my hands during the lesson, but make sure to make it your own. It's, of course, in a lesson plan, it's going to be scripted. Don't just read the script. Make it your own. The kids are going to know. That's the bottom line. The kids are going to understand when you're being genuine, when you understand that you believe that they can learn something, and when you don't. So make it your own. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to start off with there's 2 colored cubes and 1 colored cube. If I put them together, what operation or type of math am I using? So as you're saying this, you're going to be modeling. I have 2 cubes. I have 2 yellow cubes. What do you guys think? I have 2 yellow cubes and 1 pink cube. 1 pink cube. 2 and 1 is, what do you guys think? And here's where you're waiting for them to respond back. So hopefully in a perfect world, you're going to get some answers back that are, hey, you're adding, you're combining. But a lot of the times those words haven't quite made the connection that you would have hoped. And we're going to still have to take them a little bit farther to get there. But it's okay. Give a minute. Let them pause. Let them think. See who's going to have the brave hands up. See who's going to be your blurters, and go from there. So the next step, we're going to say addition is the operation that explains when things are put together to make a group. I'll show you how that works. So once again, addition is the operation that shows when 2 things are put together to make a group. 2 and 1 is, how many cubes do we have? 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 and 1 is 1, 2, 3. 2 and 1 is 3. Again, we're going to go through listening, making sure that the kids are responding when you think they're supposed to be responding. At that point where you're making that connection, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1 is, 2 and 1 is. Hopefully we can get that call to response, get the kids giving you the correct answers, giving you that feedback. You're going to repeat it multiple times, try different colors to inspire that buy-in and the want to participate. Ask the lowest participating student what color cubes you should use next. Get them to engage in at least selecting the color. So if you notice someone's not giving you that call back, someone's not responding with the what is, say, okay, what color would you like me to use next? Yellow? Okay, yellow. We got you, yellow. What is the second color? You want to say yellow, 2, 3, 4. How many yellow cubes should we use? Let them construct the math for you. Let them tell you 2 cubes, 1 cube. It gets that buy-in. It gives them choice. These are differentiation and accommodation strategies built right in. Give it a try. Top 3 teaching tips for addition to 5 using cubes. Number 1, the first thing you're going to want to do is use the brightest colors you can find. When you buy your blocks, make sure that they are the brightest ones. I can link a description in the details to the ones that I'm using. I love these particular ones. They're bright, they're bold, they're beautiful. It's really important when students have choice to pick. I want to work with the purple ones or the orange ones or the pink ones. Give them that choice, give them that buy-in, that slight investment in at least picking a color. That means they're at least bringing a little bit of the brain to the table and saying, I want to work with you, even if it's just in picking a color. It's a very first start. Number 1 tool tip. The next thing you want to do is make sure that the blocks that you're picking are they're nice to touch. Not all blocks have the same snap when you click them together or when you pull them apart. And when you're working with visual and kids who just need to hear that sound, those auditory learners and the kinesthetic learners, you're going to want to make sure that they're nice to touch. They're not rough. They have a little bit of texture. These particular ones have holes in the center, so they're kind of fun when you press on them, and I don't know, I just kind of like them. But important, kinesthetic learners, visual, gotta have that snap. When those come together, you want to make sure, and I pick the ones that don't have a good snap. But you get what I mean. We want to hear them snap. Oh, there we go. Pop, snap. There we go. And the last tool tip. Here we go. Put this one in your bag of tricks. Make sure when you look at the script that's in the lesson that you modify it and make it your own. But when you make it your own, using the academic vocabulary, use it as much as you can, as often as you can. In this particular lesson, it's going to be the and, is, in, all, and together. Every time you can get the word and in there, is, all together, it's going to be very, very important. It's going to add to your lesson. If you happen to be interested, I'm going to post a link in the description to where you can find all the materials that you've seen me use today, meaning the worksheets. These are pre-differentiated for you, accommodations built in some cases, lots of different special education and good title practices for designing worksheets. If you're interested, they're there, but hopefully with the amount of talking that we've done, you can create the ones that make more meaning for your students, or, I like to provide an easy button when I can. Also, there's going to be a link to the description that will show you where the lesson plan is. If you wanted to know the actual lesson plan, the learning progression, all the assessment materials, academic vocabulary, learning targets, that kind of stuff, it's all in the lesson plan. So again, link in the description below. Help yourself, or feel free to write your own. Whatever I can do to help, that's what I'm here for. So that was lesson 1 in the 4-part series on addition to 5 for kindergarten. What we're going to do is ask you to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell over there. Ring that bell is going to let you know the minute I come out with video 2, 3, and 4, giving you the entire unit scaffolded, differentiated, accommodations built in, the whole 9 yards. So subscribe, hit that bell. I will post a link in the description to let you know each one of the video links See you in the next lesson.